Okay, NXT, you see my title. I'm pissed off. But it's not like you think. It's not because Trick Willie is champion. It's not. But I'm going to explain it as I go through the show. And there's not a lot here because this is week 1. But let's make this clear. The way this show ended pissed me off. But it's not the ending of the title being held up. Let's open. We get the Women's Championship, triple threat. It opens the show. Lara Valkyria, Tatum Paxley, Miss Crazy Woman, Crazy Woman. And then you have Roxanne Perez, the prodigy of not Triple H, but the daddy, Booker T. That man was happy as can be. You heard how he was talking on the show. He was happy about his girl. He was. But here's the problem. It was not the match quality. I want to make this clear. Every match was fine. Every match was fine. The segments were fine. Ending of storylines are fine. Look, we're going to have in 3 days the first draft of SmackDown. Then a few days later, the next draft of Raw. It's understandable. Then we're also going to have, we're going to be having clearly Backlash along with that as well because we're very close to Backlash. But here's the problem. Here's the thing that pisses my ass off. I understand this match, you can't have it commercial free. And that's fine. So, seeing they had commercials, I was not happy about it. But understood, we are having the closing of the show. And the commercials were an issue. But it's always an issue with commercials. But there's no way you're going to have the Women's Championship without commercials. So it's understandable. I didn't like it. I'm sure many others didn't like it. Seeing how most of the match was going, you would be better off having it commercial free. But they probably couldn't do that. That was fine. That's what you thought during the match. And in the end, we got a lovely roll-up after a 450 from Tatum Paxley onto Lara Valkyria. The Prodigy retains. I'm not having a problem with that. There's no problem seeing Roxanne Perez champ. I have no problem. But I will tell you, I was not happy seeing there were commercials during the match. Second match, 6-man tag. We got the Quarter Catch Crew versus the Family. This one did not have much commercial at all. It was almost completely clean. It was alright. And in the end, the Don got the pin on guess who? It was not. And here's the thing. We already know that many people have already been released, including Jinder Mahal. There's one person that likes Jinder Mahal. I understand him. I never was a big fan of him, but I was happy that he did get an opportunity at a title because as I've said many years ago and still say it today, when Vince was in charge, he refused to give anyone any options at mid-card. There were several mid-carders like EC3 and others who could have and should have gotten opportunities, but Vince didn't want to go there. Seeing Jinder Mahal get it, I was fine with it, and it was due to time they were trying to do something in India. So that was the main reason he won it. I understand it, but it was also a mid-carder. That's why I cared. But when you look at the Quarter Catch Crew, you see Bourne. He looks like he's leaving. I'm not saying he is, but I'm sure they're going to start cutting the fat on NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. I'm obviously seeing that some that have been there, they don't look like they progress much. I see Bourne, he may go. I don't think Kemp is going, and I don't see at all Charlie Dempsey going because he is the son of the William Regal. The man that we all know, we all love and wanted originally as the general manager of NXT again, but of course he's not. He's working with the talent in the back. So this is what we got. But no commercials. Then we got Jade versus Fallon Henley. We didn't even get them having an intro. They couldn't play their music. They couldn't even come to the ring. Well, actually, I take that back. Jada, she did get coming to the ring. So that means she's more important than a Fallon Henley, of course. But Fallon, During the commercial, she comes into the ring and they start the match while they're in commercial. That is a very, very rare thing they do. And it was bad. It just made the match crappy. Because it didn't last long. The majority of the match was during the commercial. And in the end, yes, the Jada wins. And there's no problem with it. I have no problem with Jada. Now, mind you, Jada did have a problem though. Because her wig came off. Look, this is my hair. I know I'm going bald. I know. Look, I'm 53 this year. And I know I'm going bald. I'm surprised this is even growing. You know, men don't always keep their hair. And I still got something on here. But when it came to her, she decided, well, I'm going to go out with my extensions in. And that bitch fell out right at the end of the match. So that made her look very bad. It would have been better if she just came out in her natural hair. That is something you don't like to see often. When women's hair are so short, they're so worried about looking bad, they wear extensions or they wear a wig or something. And in many cases, those things come loose. If you look in the former Impact Wrestling, Gazelle Shaw, she used to have extensions in her hair. And every match she had, her hair just kept falling out because the extensions kept popping out. Now, from the last time we saw her, no more extensions falling out much at all. So that's good. Look at Bianca Belair. Because she wanted that frayed type of look in her hair kept popping off. Either because it was extension, which is not, or it just kept coming off. It's better you just have your natural hair. I'm just saying. Next, the match that I'm like, really? Seeing Soruka come to the ring, well, not come to the ring, but come to the arena with a, well, not arena, but you know where to go, with a surfboard. And I'm going like, really? Why? And then we see the beach brawl. And I'm going like, are you really going to do a beach brawl with not Tatum Pax? You see, I'm getting a little confused here because I didn't want to see something like this. Why are we getting a beach brawl between both of them? But since they wanted to end their feud, this is what they did. Instead of letting it be a no-holds-barred match or a street fight or something like that, they decided to do a themed beach type of thing. Now, you know, it's not 100% bad, but let's make it clear. It wasn't great. I'm not going to say it was great, but here's the problem. Majority of the show, of that match, commercial. Another one in the commercial. And I'm going like, really? They're going that far with the commercials. You just had the opening match having commercials. You did skip a bit for the second match, but the third, now fourth, is a match with commercials in it. And I'm going like, really? Shit. That's a lot of freaking commercials. But it made me think of the ending of the show. It made me think of Trick and Ilya. So I'm going like, okay, they're doing all these commercials now, so they don't have to do commercials at the end of the show. No problem. Fine. I'm cool with it. Baron Corbin versus Lexis King. Now, since Braun Breaker is now officially on SmackDown, looks like they're going to keep him there from now on. Corbin's by himself. And Lexis King is saying, well, you're going to need to get a new money train. Not money train. A new someone to latch yourself onto. So Baron Corbin and Alexis King had this match, which didn't really feel like it had much of a build. This just felt like Lexis King needed a win and Baron Corbin needed a loss. And that's what we got here. Not a very long match. It was not that bad. It did look a bit sloppy in the middle, but it was not that bad. So Lexis King did win, and I'm glad to see it. But do I believe he's ready for the main roster? No, he's not. He needs to win a title. He needs to win the North American Championship, or he needs to win the World Championship. He needs one of them. Unless he's going to be a tag team specialist and win something with the tags. But knowing what we got coming, I don't think so. Now, let's talk about the back. JC James talks about Thea Hale. Wasn't bad. Now we're going to have an ending of it next week. Fine. Need to be done, it's done. Seeing the Authors of Pain with Final Testament. I want them separated from Karrion Kross. I'm saying it right now. Karrion Kross needs to leave WWE. He's gained nothing since he came back. I'm telling you right now, the guy's busted his butt on the show. He's worked SmackDown. He's worked Raw. He worked hard to try and make things work, but it hasn't gotten anywhere. And it's not his total fault. He's been given opportunity, but they've never capitalized on the opportunity. He's worked against AJ Styles, but what did they do with him after AJ? Nothing. In many cases, he wasn't seen on TV and he's gotten nowhere. Then he went up against Ray. He got over on Ray, but did he gain anything after that? No, they didn't do anything with him. And then when they gave him Final Testament, when he's the head of it, and Paul Ellering should be the one to talk for them, and he's the one who's talking. Okay, it's not great, but at least he's got the Authors of Pain, he's got Paulie, sometimes they'll talk. And instead of letting him have a rise on his own with his group, no, you put him against the Pride. And basically, you throw him down to NXT where he is now. He needs to leave. I hope they let him go. Flat out. It's not about if he can't get the work done. They've done nothing with him. And he has tried. Believe me, he has. But every time when they gave him something, and it looks like they should capitalize on him, put him up to the next important next. Give him a new storyline after AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio. They've done none of it. He just sat in the back, did nothing until you threw him with the Final Testament, and then you threw him against the Pride instead of letting him get a rise with his group. No, you're putting him up against another group that was needing to build themselves up. After you made the Pride with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits not mean much because of Bobby getting pissed off that Angelo Dawkins or Montez Ford started losing, and then he got mad because he wasn't losing. Then you throw B-Fab on him instead of Bianca Belair, and then you got this. This is garbage. He needs to leave. Last bit. And I'm going to be honest here. I was actually going, why? Why did you set up NXT Underground without the match? You just bring them out and let them talk in the ring without the post, without the ropes there, just the post. Why? Why? I felt like it was not necessary to do that. You could have just had a regular, ordinary ring without doing the underground thing. You should have just left it as it was. That's what I thought. And I still mostly think that. But once you had Petrovic, you had the lovely, curvy Natty, the boat. And you have, and she did a very good vid pack, Lola Vice. I did like the vid pack. She made it serious. Yes, she's shaking her ass and everything, but she did make it seem important. And when they were in the ring talking to Ava and the lovely Natty with the big tits. And I'm not saying she doesn't wrestle, and I can't say she can't talk. But let's make it very clear. Over the years, Natty's big tits have really become more accentuated. I'm not saying she got breast implants. From the way I've seen her sister and her on YouTube, they both got big tits. And her sister has bigger tits. But it looks like she's slimmed down a lot, trying to do exactly what her husband TJ did and fast on and off, trying to become more slimmer, which has now made her breasts look bigger without losing any. And that's the thing, if you fast, you could lose fat. So she hasn't lost her fat in her breast. That is legitimate. You got fat cells in the women's breast. How do you think they feed babies? But anyway, the talk between Natty and Lola was not bad. Lola saying that I may shake my ass, but guess what? I can still kick your ass. Yes, it rhymes and it's corny, but it does work for her personally because she has been an MMA fighter. Seeing a Natty say simply, I respect you, but you think because I do this that I don't know how to really do it. Look, I started in the, pretty much she started in the dungeon. Her grandfather was still alive at the time when she was training in the dungeon all those years ago. So he put her, I'm sure, taught how to put her in locks that she has to work out of. And she said it, that I grew up in the dungeon. I know better than anyone how hard those things can be. and I am going to teach you some respect because you literally have an attitude. I'm going to knock that shit out of your head. And they ask who is going to be a trainer. She brings out, and this is the reason why most of how I felt about the NXT Underground set being put out there was mostly negated, was Shayna Baszler coming back. That made sense when it comes to Lola. Both of them are former MMA fighters. Both of them do have credentials. Seeing Shayna Baszler, who already just removed a Ronda Rousey, who I did see her interview talking about how WWE was and how Vince was. I know. I'm not making a Gump report on it, but I do know what she mostly said. What she was willing to say, other than what she was going to say in maybe a book that's going to come out eventually. Or already, has she got a book? I can't remember. I think she got a book. If she doesn't, she will eventually write one. But as you can see, Shayna's there. It makes some sense. Is it great? No. That's why it's not fully negated, but it's mostly negated. So it makes sense to have them there. They have a fight. They get driven back, and that's Shayna as well as Lola, who's shaking her ass right next to Shayna Baszler to try and make herself look good. Look, she's a Brazilian. She got a thick ass. She got no boobies, but she got a thick ass. No problem. But I'm hoping as she develops, that shaking of her ass will go away. One of the things people are going to understand about you, if you're a pro wrestler as a male or a female, is that yes, you have a certain gimmick, a certain type of way you move. Like, look at Daniel Garcia. He's going like this. He does his dance, but he limits it, unlike when he first started doing it. He used to do it like crazy. Now he limits it only when it's necessary. He has learned. Lola Vice, I'm hoping she'll limit enough that she will stop doing it, or do it very minimal as she uses it, either when she does a ring segment, her promos, or in the ring. That's how I feel. All right. Final. Let's make it clear. The last match was good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Seeing Trick win made me very happy because I told you guys that sooner or later, Trick Williams is going to be a champion. I said it. I don't know if anybody else did. Maybe they did. I'm sure there's other YouTubers who have. You can tell me below, or tell everyone else below. Am I the only one, or have you heard of others who thought Trick Williams, when he was not even ready to even do anything, they thought he needs to break away and start building himself because he needs to be put over by his buddy, Carmelo Hayes. I'm the one who said that. But seeing that the fans were going crazy for him, seeing that they were, at one point, during that match, Ilya and him facing off for each other, they actually gave each other hugs and saying clearly, I'm proud of you. He's saying, thank you, I'm proud. They basically were hugging each other. They knew how important this was, how special it was. And then they beat the living piss out of each other until finally the match is over. Trick is waiting for his title. Ilya grabs that sucker, and he stands up classy, gives it to Trick, and gives him a big hug. He gives him a kiss. He gives him a big hug and said, I'm proud of you. You could see him mouthing it. I am proud of you. So, great ending. It's wonderful. No, it's not. I'm angry as guys, I was fucking angry. I was angry. You put ads in the first match. You put ads in the third match. You put ads in the fourth match. Oh, you didn't put much ads in the fifth match. But then the final match. You think all those ads that you did earlier is supposed to extend the match so it'll be free, so you can watch it. No fucking way. Motherfuckers refuse to just say, okay, the final part of the show, ad-free. No commercials. They're throwing out fucking commercials during the damn match, which is the most important title they have. Not Umafemi going up against Ibar next week. It's this one. And they legitimately refuse to just let NXT just have that moment of letting their champion, who may be called up to either SmackDown or Raw, finally have his special moment as probably his last match on the show. No! You make it about fucking commercial. Do you now understand? If anybody does understand what I've said for months when it comes to TKO Group Holdings, I don't call WWE WWE. I call it TKO WWE because it's always about one thing. This. When you looked at Vince, he was a crazy old man who's done some, possibly and probably has, nasty shit. But when it came down to it, he originally was the son of a promoter who wanted to turn the company into a business. And he ran it as close as he could to a business, but he still saw it as a promotion. Now you're owned by a real businessman who has been working business for years, who owns his own company of endeavor. He bought out UFC and made it all mainly a business. And now, not only did he create a new company that is now over WWE, UFC, and I do believe endeavors in that umbrella of TKO Group Holdings, it's all about money. You see the way it's going now, and it will get worse. This was not necessary. They did not need to throw a commercial in the last match of week 1. They could have left it alone and left it. This is not just about it being and someone's going to say, dude, this is a developmental. It's not the point. It's not the point. This was a signature match that is for the most important person there, Ilya Dragunov, who will probably go either to SmackDown or Raw, probably. And the new guy who literally is so over that his catchphrase is on Raw and SmackDown and TNA. Yeah. Remember, when Trin was there and she faced off in the ring talking to a Mickie James, they talking about whoop that trick and she's going like this and she's going like that. That is Trinity. It has transcended the damn company into another company. That is how over Trick Williams is and his freaking catchphrase. And instead of making it important, no. You made it about a commercial in the middle of the damn match when you shouldn't have done that. I don't know if anybody else is going to care. I'm sure no one else is going to care because they're going to be so happy Trick won. And I am happy Trick won because if I'm correct, which I'm probably not, I'm one of the few or one of the only people in the IWC who early saw Trick Williams as something and he needed to go off away from Carmelo Hayes when everybody else thought that Trick Williams is just a hype man, he can't do shit. And I said it. And it was during when Carmelo Hayes and him were already about a year and a half into the story of them being together. And it was during a Halloween special when Carmelo Hayes is about to get his when he was losing his North American title, he's about to go to the world title yet. He was in between. He was in the North American Championship. He was about to jump into the world title. That is when I realized Trick Williams he has to go on his own and start growing because I can see Carmelo Hayes ready to go to the main roster. And I knew I didn't see much of him in the ring, but he's got the gift of gab. He's got a good look. And I do believe he could make something out of himself before Trick and Carmelo fully departs and Trick could be put over by Carmelo Hayes. And look what happened. Look what happened. I said it over a year and a half ago. Obviously, it's reached that point. But instead of making it special, commercials. I'm still pissed. But it was still a good show, taking out the commercials. It was a good show. They're starting to end storylines, which they need to do. Yes, we did see 2 new guys. I'm not talking about them because I don't know their names. It's not the point. At least we did see them. We are getting a setup for next week. We got a contract signing for, yes, NXT Underground, but at least it will be something for the women. It's fine. But it's just me. Peace.